There we go. Wait, no. You're getting a lot of background noise right now. 1 second. I muted it because it was getting... It helps when you plug your microphone in, first of all. So, I have my portable closet back in this room, so when I start getting yes, it is Silent Raw. So when I start getting interviews, I can make my background less chaotic. I'm actually hoping over the course of my weekend to shift my office / crafty room around a little bit more, in order to have a more professional background is pretty much what I'm going for. I have, and this is only this stream's only till 11. I have a doctor's appointment at 11, so I gotta swap out windows. We're working on color 820 still. We have 900 stitches of this baby left. And then I'll have another 30 stitches of another color before we hit 90%. Oh my! Time flies when you're not paying attention to it. The dogs are pacing. Well, that's not gonna happen on days where the wind is 60 miles an hour. You learn how to. You'll fly to the store at that. Oh, yeah. Today it's very subdued today here. Um, it's not sunny, but it's not dark cloudy. It's very overcast. It's very gray. uh, so I'd love to say that I did all kinds of work on Buffalo Man after I logged off yesterday, but the answer is I did not. I did a little bit of cleaning. I did some organizing. Um, I did things, just not work on Buffalo Woman. She's very hard to move around. Like it's just when she's in a spot, she kind of stays there for a couple days. And if she's up here in the craft room, she really doesn't migrate downstairs. Oh my goodness. Ugh. I've been cleaning up my Ooh. Oh my. Well, yeah. So you won't have any effects for another few hours unless it was yeah. It long lasting is a little less critical. Like I would be far more in alert mode if you double took your short lasting because that stuff hits like a freight train. Long lasting is I don't suggest it by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a little less scary if that makes any sense. At least in my brain, it's less scary. Hmm. I'm at a point in life where it's like, who needs alarm clocks? I have shepherds. Today's version of waking up was a nose and a lick to the face at 6:30, 6 or 6:30, somewhere in that ballpark. Because Pixie wanted pets. Okay, there's no stupid questions mostly. So that's a complicated answer. Um, so with long lasting, you just have to eat a little bit more. And you can buffer it by having complex carbs. Like you could have a sandwich, something with like a bowl of pasta, nice complex carbs that will take a while to kick in. And it's a lot less dangerous because it gradually kicks in. Like you're not gonna. I would say it's the yeah. With long lasting, it's more of a slow crash. Like it's slow motion. Like you can see it coming. You're like no. Um, with what I take, because I microdose throughout the day. My insulin pump microdoses me throughout the day with fast acting insulin um, to just kind of keep me on the straight and narrow. Um, if you accidentally double dose with that, you best stuff your face. Um, if you double dose fast acting insulin, you put sugar in your mouth yesterday. Cause and since it hits fast, it goes away fast. That's why if I were to double dose, I would have to eat a lot of sugar. Where um whereas with Hutchie, with long lasting, you want to kind of eat a mixture because you want carbs that are going to be complex and you want them to last a good long time. You want some fats in there. You want it to last as long as the insulin's going to last, which is 2-3 hours depending, sometimes up to 12. I mean, there's so many different types of insulin that the answer to that question, at least with long lasting, with the short acting insulins, it is onset between 30 and 60 minutes. Its peak is 2 to 3 hours, and then it's done. Yeah, and yes, it is mildly terrifying. Insulin is actually very, very scary. It's one of my more terrifying drugs that I have. And people don't give it enough credit for the power that it holds. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Like, I mean, Hutchie Mom has like a fully loaded freight train with big old heavy stuff where it chugs along. It's not going slow, but it's not the bullet train that would hit me if I were to double dose. Oh, ooh, yeah, that's some good stuff. And then like when I have my bouncy ball days where it goes up and then it crashes, where it looks more like an EKG than it does like a nice rolling hill. Um, I get full. Like I get to the point where I can't eat anymore, and then I drink sugary things, and then I get to the point where I can't anymore, and that's when we start having issues. Is when I'm so full that I can't, and sometimes I've even disabled my insulin at this point in time because I can do that. I can make my pump stop distributing. There are a lot of it's super complex, and when I try to help and explain, I always feel like I'm getting muddled and lost. A couple people that I work with like listen, but then there's always the person whose second cousin's mother has diabetes and they obviously know better. Oh yeah, oh yeah, the wake up low. Oh. uh, yeah, that's pretty close. That's pretty close to what goes on, has to go on. I've started following a couple of younger type ones on TikTok, and it warms my old crusty heart because they are having the same issues that I was having at their age, and they have answers as opposed to I kind of just guessed. They science has finally caught up where they're getting some answers, but still at the same time, there's no answers. Like sometimes your sugar's just gonna be high. You can be having a good day. You could have been eating a nice balanced low carb, like your ideal pristine meals. You could be exercising appropriately. You could be having a glorious, beautiful, and your sugar's still going to be high, and nothing you do is gonna lower your sugar. But yeah, the it's a very unique disease, and I try to tell everybody, like, when I start explaining to people, I try. Sometimes I forget, but I do try to disclose that everybody has a different reaction. Now there's some similarities. Your sugar crashes, you're going to sweat, you're going to shake. Um some people become passive. Some people get very very angry. I would be I would be the angry version. Some I have passed out before. But the when I came to the feeling of helplessness that I felt, um, I don't want that. So the angry, yeah. uh, oh, oh, Hutchie, that's the truth. That is the truth. Like, I've had days where my sugars have been awful. I'm like, okay, my sugars are high. Fuck it. I'm gonna have a pint of ice cream. Sugars are perfect. Um, well, my it's attached to my phone. Like, I haven't set up the sharing aspect of it. The funny thing is I don't actually like pass out as in fall on the floor and stop. What happens is my this is what a nice person does, and my consciousness, I guess, would leave. Like, I'm still up and moving, but Sarah's not home. Sarah's not home right now. Please leave a message and she'll get back to you once your sugar gets back up. I've said some atrocious things. Yeah, and so many parents put so much emphasis on that sugar level. Like, for the longest time, how much of a good person I was dependent was reliant on how good my sugars were. Oh, not even no, not even hallucinating. I was not home. Um, I would be in instances where the last thing I was remember I was watching TV, and then I come to covered in milk or something. Well, this is a fun story. Is I was home for college for Christmas break, and I was sitting watching TV. My sister was home. I mean, we're only 4 years apart, so she was 14, 15. And I was watching TV with her, and the next thing I remember, I am sitting in front of the TV covered in milk and cereal. And I look at her and I went, "What happened?" Well, she's like, "Well, you got some cereal, you fell down the stairs, broke the bowl, wandered off, came back up here, and sat down." Yeah, yeah. So I I try to teach people how to take care of me if I leave the building, but yeah, it's difficult because you can't teach until it happens, and I work so very hard for it to not happen. I grew up being told every day your sugar is over 200 is a day less you're gonna die, or a day sooner you're gonna die. Um, uh, I mean, I have a whole lot of psychological trauma attached to managing my diabetes. It's not something that I'm completely willing to talk about all of it just yet, and I'm working on that, but it's still something that I want people to know that they're not alone. If you we're told and judged by a set of standards, and then that during your formative years, because this was my teenage years, um, it's okay to be confused. um, my and I agree. A lot of what they did was wrong. A lot of what they did was right. They there's so much complexity in that, which I am a little bitter about. Let's see. Let's see if I can count. 3, 6, 7. Okay, let's see. 3. Okay, 8. 8 out. Because yes, I was very much controlled with my diabetes. I was forced to measure all of my food. I constantly heard, "Should you really be eating that?" Um, so I have a lot of issues with food. But I work through it best that I can. I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form when it comes to my food issues, but I do try to be as understanding as I can, because you didn't know what you didn't know, and I doubt my parents even remember saying half the things they said to me, because the tree remembers, the axe forgets. Um, but it's I remember being told, like, I had the opportunity to get an insulin pump very early on in its existence. But I was scared because my mom always told me, well, it's a giant surgery, it's gonna be painful, it's gonna be a lot of work. So looking back, I realized what she was doing and why. But at the same time, it kind of like it's kind of like a slap in the face when you get text messages saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, I had dinner with the guy who made the Omnipod that you're using." And okay, this woman unabashedly hates modern medicine because it's all phooey, and um therapy is like whores go a reformed whore finding Jesus. So there's a whole lot of complexity in that particular area of my life that I have yet to fully unpack, because I'm not ready to face it myself, because there's so much anger attached to those feelings. Um and I recognize that. Like I'm even like buffering it right now, because if I get into it, it's gonna be it's gonna be hairy. and of course, I don't know what I'm talking about. That kind of level of denial. Not just a river in Egypt, folks. But I I understand that things were done that might not, in hindsight, have been the best choice. Um, and I can't change that. I can't change the past. Um, the best I can do is look at it, accept what happened, and move forward, knowing that if I can prevent that from happening to someone else, that I'm going to try my darndest to prevent that from happening. And a lot of it is information. Being willing to accept that what you knew yesterday could be different from what you're hearing today. And that's okay. It is okay to change your mind. It is okay to move forward. It is okay to accept new information. And that's And it's also not as okay, but I understand why someone would be so terrified to move, um, to move in a different direction. I completely understand, Hachi. Completely understand. Um, Unfortunately, my treasure chest, my chest started to rot because I didn't pack them properly. So, yeah. I used wood instead of bedrock. Did you asterisk yourself, or did Twitch's random crack asterisk you? uh, the filter is so weird. Like I don't really have too much of a filter, in my chat. I don't. So when it asterisks things out, I'm very confused by it. Cause we even had Dragon test it. that was a that was a fun stream. hmm. Jules, Jules is like, I went in, I turned it off. And hello, Jules. Oh my goodness. Godspeed, Jules. Godspeed. uh, well, maybe he would, you know. One second. I might have missed my appointment. One second. One second. I might have to pop off a little early. My bad. Okay, my wonderful peeps. I gotta go. I gotta go get my meds. I will talk to you all later. I'm gonna figure this out. Ah. Get good sleep. Get good sleep. I'll be lurking on Discord. My bad. Oops.